The principal dangers of inhaling particulate matter applies to smoke and secondhand smoke causing lung cancer, coal miner lungs, anthracosis, and lung disease due to inhalation of coal dust. A baker's lung inhaling flour and other allergens causes severe asthma. These dangers can be avoided, while geoengineering particulate fallout cannot. On a massive scale, geoengineering will likely result in democide, if not stopped completely. According to Professor R.J. Rommel of the University of Hawaii, democide is the murder of any person or people by government, including genocide, politicide, and mass murder. Democide does not include soldiers killed in battle. During the 20th century, 1900s alone, Rommel calculates that the government power was used to murder approximately 262 million people. It appears that history is repeating itself with improved technology. Secondary purposes of geoengineering include controlling the climate, weather for warfare and profits, and destroying the natural world while furthering transhumanist synthetic biology agenda. Well, these bastards, they think they're gods. They're going to destroy everything on the ground while they're hiding in their bunkers. And then they think they can come out and recreate what God already created. And it's just like Nimrod. Come, let us make a name for ourselves. That is what they want. But what they do not understand is Lucifer, the father of all lies, has told them that they will be given power and knowledge. And they will be given that. But they are so dumb. They ain't gonna have any piece of that cake in the end. They do what he says, but they die horribly. Well, the evidence indicates that geoengineering is an essential element of the elite's endgame move to depopulate this planet. The public must be educated and the stratospheric spraying stopped immediately. Do geoengineering and chemtrails exist? Yeah. We can say that. It is already official by themselves that they are spraying. They are already in public telling you that they are doing it. For the purposes of this article, geoengineering and chemtrails are defined as a military-industrial complex program in partnership with private contractors and possibly major airlines, whereby planes spraying particulate matter, particles and substances into the atmosphere that otherwise would not be there. Simply searching for images and videos of chemtrails online will quickly provide overwhelming visual evidence demonstrating that they all exist all over the world. Thousands of images containing strange aerial spraying formations can be seen in a matter of seconds. Numerous documentaries why in the world they're spraying, what in the world are they spraying, and why in the world are they spraying, have been watched by millions of people, me included, and I'm appalled. There is an abundant documentation that chemtrails exist. The Air Force 1990 Chemtrails Chemistry Manual is available online for download. Evergreen Aviation admits that it has chemtrail contracts with the Air Force. Exclusive list of chemtrail patents are available. Congressman Dennis Kucinich tried to stop chemtrails with his Space Preservation Act of 2001. In 2010, scientists of aerospace engineers presented conclusive evidence of covert stratospheric aerosol geoengineering, aka chemtrails, in a 336-page report called Case Orange. The term chemtrails is in the text of 2001 legislation HR 2977, where chemtrails are defined as an exotic weapon. Yeah, it is a weapon. The Case Orange report was commissioned by the Belfort Group, who held a chemtrail symposium where the conclusions were presented by aerospace engineer Dr. Cohen Vermeeren. Germany and Sweden admit to chemtrails. Many military whistleblowers like Christenson and Ben Livingston have courageously stepped forward to expose geoengineering. Now even government entities such as State of Texas openly acknowledge that they are engaged in geoengineering for weather modification. Private pilots have taken up close videos to prove beyond all doubt that the population are being sprayed from planes above without informed consent. There is also video evidence of chemtrails being turned on, then turned off, then turned back on again. Scientists and weathermen discuss chemtrails, and many believe it is the most important topic in the world today. Scientist and researcher Clifford Carnicom and many others have sacrificed much to inform the public about the dangers of chemtrails geoengineering. Governments spend billions of dollars a year on chemtrail spraying without telling the citizens. Geoengineering programs are having the effect of blocking out sunlight. The emergence of chemtrails phenomenon coincided with an average of 22% drop in sunlight reaching the Earth's surface. We are dependent on this sunlight because from the sunlight vitamin D3 is created, which is a major key for your sanity and a major key for your immune system. Even the New York Times, that's something I know about, even the New York Times recently published a story stating that the global crowds darker as sunlight diminishes 10 to 37%. Geoengineering is not mentioned in the Times article, and no place for readers to comment was provided. To be blunt, governments are geoengineering and realize chemtrail dangers, yet refuse to protect the public health, safety and welfare. What is being sprayed? Hundreds of laboratory tests reveal that the primary components of geoengineering are aluminum and barium. Other components include synthetic polymers, which is Morgellons, ethylene dibromide, Morgellons disease, viruses, fungi and bacteria. The toxic metal particulates are rapidly absorbed by the respiratory system and in the gastrointestinal tract, and deposited in the lungs, muscles and bones. According to Medscape, aluminum accumulation in tissues and organs result in their dysfunction and toxicity. If a significant load exceeds the body's excretory capacity, the excess is deposited in various tissues, including bone, brain, liver, heart, spleen, and muscle. This accumulation causes morbidity and mortality. No living systems use aluminum as a part of biochemical process. It has a tendency to accumulate in the brain and bones. The material safety data sheet for aluminum states that the most notable symptoms of aluminum poisoning are diminishing intellectual function, forgetfulness, inability to concentrate, and in extreme cases full-blown dementia and Alzheimer's. Its toxicity is also caused bone softening and bone mass loss, kidney and other soft tissue damage, and in large enough doses can cause cardiac arrest. Additionally, aluminum is strongly linked to autism. Barium is a toxic to humans and animals and causes dramatic drop in potassium levels in the body. And I wish to add something here regarding the potassium. We have a spill going on in Japan from Fukushima, which is leading out cesium-137, and cesium-137 have a tendency to mimic potassium and actually replace your natural potassium in your body. So not only by chemtrails but also by radioactivity, your potassium levels are dropping exponentially. Barium is known for considerably increase in the frequency of heart attacks in persons 65 years and older. Sulfur is another toxin associated with geoengineering. Laboratory tests with test animals indicate that sulfur can cause serious vascular damage in veins of the brain, at the heart, the kidneys. These tests also indicate that certain forms of sulfur can also cause fetal damage and congenital defects. Mothers can even carry sulfur poisoning over to their children through their milk. Sulfur can also damage the internal enzyme system of animals. The purpose of geoengineering is injury and death. There are still a large number of people who remain in denial about the openly stated agenda for global population reduction, as well as the consequences of this program that are unfolding. Abundant evidence proves that a criminal global elite, Bilderbergers, has been obsessed with eugenics and its modern day's incarnation, population control for well over 100 years, and that goal of global population reduction remains a priority. Chemtrails and geoengineering are clearly part of the death agenda and represent the equivalent of spraying ants to death with a can of slow-acting poison. However, in this case the poison is megatons of particulate aluminum, barium and other toxins consistently sprayed from above. The can is a jet plane, and the target is humans. Scientific studies prove that breathing particulate matter associated with chemtrails over time will harm and kill us. A 16-year study by New York and Brigham Young universities proved that long-term exposure to air pollution that contains high concentrations of tiny particles of soot and dust significantly increases the risk of dying of lung cancer and heart disease. The researchers calculated that the number of deaths of lung cancer increased by 8% for every 10 microgram of fine particulate matter per cubic meter, according to the study. Likewise, a study that analyzed the 52-year-old historical surface measurement of haze data in the Chinese city of Guangzhou demonstrated that the dramatic increase in the occurrence of air pollution events between 1954 and 2006 was followed by a large increase in the incidence of lung cancer. Many other reputable studies has also proven the link between particulate matter in the air, cancer and death. Investigate journalist and author chemtrails confirmed William Thomas found that chemtrails inflict eye infections, nosebleeds, skin sores, muscle pain, chronic exhaustion, weakened immunity, acute asthma and allergies, short-term memory loss, and heart attacks on people in more than a dozen countries, Thomas writes. Small particulates like aluminum oxide found in chemtrails also kill. According to the New York Times, microscopic notes are able to infiltrate the tiniest compartments in the lungs and pass readily into the bloodstream. Particulates of this size called by for the Welsbach pattern describing chemtrails are most strongly tied to illness and early death, particularly people who are already susceptible to respiratory problems. New York Times, October 14th, 2006. The Welsbach pattern calls for megatons of 10 micron size aluminum oxide particles to be spread in the atmosphere. The EPA calls the particle this small an extreme human health hazard, leading to 5% increased death rate within 24 hours. Did you hear that? 5% increase in 24 hours. This is genocide. Hearts as well, lungs can be damaged by ultrafine particles small enough to get into the bloodstream and inflame tissues and cells, report the LA Times. After they reach the heart, the particles are thought to cause a stress reaction in the cells, producing inflammation that contributes to heart disease. These particles also may cause blood clots. Los Angeles Times, December 29, 2003. The Neurotoxic Brain Poisoning Division in the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency says that exposure to airborne particulate matter is an environmental health risk of global proportions.